Hey there, Jennifer here. I just wanted to do a quick video on how I do my tax expenses and my receipts and everything, just because I feel like it's easier to explain that way. But what I do is each month I put all of my receipts for each month in that little basket right there. It says expenses and receipts with the picture of my daughter up there. And what I do is I just put all my receipts for the month in that basket, and then I take my envelope for that month and I stick all my receipts in there, and I started keeping them in this. So you open it up, and all these envelopes or you can get them at the sCENTSY Family Store, and it's the expenses and receipts envelopes. And so you can open them up and you can totally put all of your receipts in there and save them. So that's what I've been doing. So like I've done this for the last 2 years. So I write down, like, let's say February. February is an expensive month for me, February and July, just because of Spring Sprint and sCENTSY Family Reunion. And then, of course, the closer to the holidays I have a lot of expenses then, too, from March until December, because I do a lot of booths. So I write off all of those booth fees. But I just write down the month, the year, and then what it is. Like, so the event, Spring Sprint, was $90 for me because I didn't think I was going to be able to go, and then I decided at the last minute I was going to go. And then parking, supplies, I bought a bunch of catalogs while I was there, so I wrote all of that off, and I have all the receipts in here. The only receipts that I don't really keep in here are things that I buy through the sCENTSY Family Store through my website. Just because the receipts are already in my website, so if I ever get audited, in my workstation, so if I ever get audited, I can automatically pull those up. And the receipts for my warmer of the month and my website. So I automatically write all that stuff down. I just don't necessarily keep the receipts in here. So, and then what I do is at the end of the year, I take all my envelopes out, I go through every expense, and I add them all up. So I have a list for my Schedule C on what I do. I add everything up for my office expenses, so supplies. I have my list right here. Okay, so from 2013, sCENTSY Family tax write-offs, I wrote advertising, my truck expenses, so that would be my mileage, my office expenses, business supplies to include my website, taxes and licenses. So in my state, we're required to get certain business licenses for each city if we do a booth or show in those cities. So I put those in there. Travel, meals, and entertainment. So my travel to convention, Spring Sprint, hotels. Like, I do really big gun shows, and so a lot of times I get a hotel for the weekend for my gun shows instead of driving 100 miles each way. Then my deductible meals, if I'm having lunch with my team, or if I'm having lunch with a possible recruit, I write all of those off. And then other expenses such as, travel and entertainment. When I went on my incentive trip, I wrote off a lot of stuff with that. Like, I treated myself to a massage, much needed and appreciated when I got it. So I wrote that off. And then other expenses such as postage, shipping, and things like that. And then I do write down at the bottom that I do have my own home office that is strictly dedicated to my sCENTSY Family business. And so I put down my square footage of my house and then the square footage of my office that I can write off from that space that I can actually write off. And I just give that information to my tax accountant, and then she does with it what she needs to. And then with my mileage, here's an empty one, but with my mileage, I use it's not empty. Oh, here's an empty one. I just use the mileage, vehicle mileage logs, and I write everything down. So they say with mileage, if you're going to Walmart and you're going to go buy some groceries, set some separate stuff aside for sCENTSY Family business, like pens or Post-its or envelopes or ribbon for your bags. And that way you can write off that mileage. Just have a separate receipt for your purchases from that location. You know, try and make everything about sCENTSY so you can write off that mileage. And then just keep really good track of it. If you're delivering orders, write off that mileage. If you're driving to the party, write off that mileage. If you're going to your booths, write off that mileage. All of that. So that's what I do. Because I have a truck that's a V8 and it's a gas hog, and so I try and write off as much mileage as I can with that. So I hope that helps. It was just the easiest way for me to do it instead of just taking pictures. So thanks. And pardon the look. I just got up.